to the Ungovernable. The Captain's Crew, the LFA family, McGroin Nation. We're coming to you live from this big, beautiful, deep red, extremely pollinated state of Tennessee on rumble.com/LFA TV. Welcome to Ungoverned today on this 27th day of March, the final Friday of the month of March. Whoa, whoops.
How dare.
There it is.
How dare. This is the patriarchy at work, folks.
Final Friday of the month of March. It is a big day. Just did 4 hours of radio on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT, and boy, did we have a good time, as we always do. Oh my gosh, what a time we had!
Bunch of knuckleheads over there.
It really turned into knucklehead hour for at least the last 2.5 hours of that. It was just it was a lot of fun. Always is fun, and it's interesting. Morning radio, it's different than afternoon radio. Morning radio is where more of the sillies come out. The afternoon, it's a little different, but we had a good time yesterday as well, 3 to 6 Eastern on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. That was yesterday. Then 12 hours later, bang, right back on the radio again this morning. After a nice little night out, we went out last night, Brendan and I. We thought we were going to a concert.
One band's concert.
Whoa, that's not what we wanted to do. We thought we were going at the Grand Ole Opry. We thought it was just going to, this band we like, Need to Breathe. Their 10th studio album out today.
A couple months ago, we bought tickets. We're
Long
like,
Surrender.
They're going to be in town.
All right, we'll go see them at the Opry. That'd be fun. And it wasn't just them.
Yeah,
they played.
There's like this whole list
of
lineup. Different bands and singers, and we were like, what the heck?
And they played 3 songs, and that was it.
So it was an early night for us.
But we were robbed of our Need to Breathe concert. But we will go to another one at another day. We've got, they're so. The thing is, they're so good live.
Ended up at a gay bar. Bad Moon said.
They're so. They're so good live. If you guys are fans of that type of music, they're kind of like, there's a little bit of a country element to them, and then there's a little bit of a rock element to them, and they kind of weave in some of the Christian elements into some of their songs. If you like that type of stuff, if you're into live music, listen to their studio stuff. But I will tell you, we first heard about them. They were opening up for One Republic, who I happen to like a lot too, because I think the lead singer, Ryan Tedder, is one of the most talented.
Wow, a bunch of the people in the chat love
Need to Breathe, yeah. Mm-hmm. R. Taylor says that's how the Opry works. Well, we
didn't know that, though, now we do.
We found out. We found out last night, which was fine. There was some other cool acts.
We kind of figured after the fact. We were like, yeah, we've never seen anybody just be one person
just headlining the Opry. Right.
So after the fact, we felt silly, but
I would encourage anybody, if you are Need to Breathe fans, and they have a lot of fans. They've been around a while, but if you ever get a chance to see them live, they're a phenomenal live act. When they opened for One Republic back when we were on Long Island, again, I think Ryan Tedder is one of the most talented, creative minds in the history of music. I just think he's great. And you listen to the way his mind works when it comes to how he creates songs. It's pretty cool. But they opened up for One Republic. We had no idea who they were. We said, these guys are good. So bought a couple of their albums that night. And I already bought the Long Surrender today, 12-track album. So got it online. So we'll be listening to that a little bit later and probably for a little while. But so we went out to Need to Breathe last night at the Opry, and it wasn't just them, but they were still, the 3 songs that they did play, phenomenal.
Did you guys know it smells like an Opry house?
Yeah,
in there?
Brennan thinks that the place has
it's
smell.
It's a very specific smell in the Grand Ole Opry.
It smells like an Opry house.
It
does. Apparently there's
a very specific smell.
There's a distinct smell that an Opry house smells like.
Nope.
All right, there we go. We got a lot. Look, a little bit of a heavy show today. At least off the start, a little bit of a heavy show. Another American life has been lost at the hands of an illegal alien. I don't like having to keep doing shows like this, but unfortunately, the old motto rings true. If it bleeds, it leads. And unfortunately, we're bleeding out as a society at the hands of these illegal aliens who are not supposed to be here, shouldn't be here. But I will give you in the second half, before we go to calls, 631-527-4545, a bit of good news, okay, to counter some of this bad news. But the story we're going to starts in, once again, New York City. So yesterday, if you remember yesterday's show, we talked about the 5-year-old who was raped on Long Island. That was in New York. We talked about only the 6-month jail sentence for the trans illegal alien who pled guilty to raping a 14-year-old boy in a bathroom at a bodega in New York City. Okay, that's a New York story. And now we've got another story about an elderly American veteran who was killed by an illegal alien in New York City. My question, and those of you in the chat are basically already like, well, we're done, with this crap. My question to Democrats, the left, the far left Democrats, not my question to them. We're never going to change their minds, right? And this is actually kind of goes into what I was kind of saying yesterday when we started the show. And I said this yesterday on the radio from 3 to 6 as well in the afternoon show. There are people whose minds are just made up. The Yuri Bezmenov clip, we've played it before. Dan Bongino has played it before. Other folks with, pretty good podcasts have played it before. You will never get through to a demoralized person. I don't mean demoralized as somebody who's just deflated and down on their luck. I mean somebody who, in the presence of facts, will not accept the facts that are being presented to them. Even if they're like, the sky is green. And you're like, come on, man. It's blue. They'll be like, no, it's still green. They have been completely detached from reality. Objective truths that are proven to them face to face right in front of them doesn't matter anymore. Just like the folks on the far left, right? Trans men are women, right? Or trans women are men, trans women are women. All these stupid slogans that they have. None of it's true. But they can't admit that anymore because they have been demoralized. They have been indoctrinated. They now live by a different set of facts. They're not actually facts, but they're facts enough to them. Therefore, they live by them. They are edicts. It is their creed, right? That's what they do. That's what they do. So there are minds that will never be swayed, or it will take a very long time to sway. And we don't have a very long time to sway these minds, these hearts and minds. By the way, we got a ton of emails. Remember I asked?
Yeah, I
say hi?
Yeah.
I'm going to go through all of these. I'm going to respond to them personally today. So, there's a couple of them it's been a very busy week, but I see so many people in these emails. We've got them, a bunch of them. Ungoverned@gmail.com. If you're listening on audio or if you're watching on rumble.com/LFA TV. One of the emails was, I really want to find your show, and I can't find it on your Rumble channel. I said, I don't have my show on my Rumble channel. It's on rumble.com/LFA TV. So that's the channel to go on and subscribe to. Over on Rumble. It's completely free, but subscribe to it over on Rumble.
We love free things.
And everyone loves a deal. It's a great deal. The minds of some of these people, whether you're on the far left and you believe men are women, women are men, this, that, and the other thing, right? You could change your sex and all that. Or you're, on the quote unquote right, the demoralized right, where everything is Israel, 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 Israel. There's no convincing those people. Those polar opposites, right? But those people, there's no convincing them that they're wrong in the short term. So it is time. My goal here is I'm gonna cut my losses. These guys they're beyond saving quickly. And we're gonna focus on the minds that we can change. I want to focus on an independent voter who's sitting in a suburb somewhere who hears this story about an 83-year-old veteran who gets murdered or was killed in New York City. I want to talk to that independent voter who's got an 18-year-old in college, maybe at Loyola University, maybe at some other college in a sanctuary state that fears for their life because of what happened to Sheridan Gorman or what happened to Lake and Riley. I want to talk to that moderate Democrat. Maybe aligns a little bit with what John Fetterman had been saying, right? On whether it's the Iran strikes, whether it's voter ID, whether it's some of these other, the border, common sense issues. I want to talk to these people who want to live in safe communities and aren't focused on a foreign country or aren't focused on men and women's sports and all this other stuff. These perverted kind of just wild conspiracy radical thoughts that these people have. I want to focus on the minds that can be changed, that can be swayed, the people that you can have a conversation with. Even if you disagree with them, they don't immediately believe that you're paid by some foreign country and some boogeyman that sleeps under your bed every night. That's the monster under your bed that gives you nightmares. These are the people I want to talk to. There are still a bunch of them in this country that are swing voters that will be that can be swung in either direction, based off of available information and what they understand about that information. And I can tell you that I don't believe a single one of those reasonable people, they are out there, want to live in an unsafe community, want the border to be wide open, want there to be criminals roaming through their communities, want there to be drugs roaming through their community. I don't think a single one of them. So I want to reach those folks with stories like this and with shows like this. And I want to do so throughout every possible way and means of distribution. That's why we upload the audio. That's why we're streaming on Rumble, so that the content is always there. You can always point people back. This story out of New York City is terrible. So we're going to get to that. TSA is now going to be funded as long as it passes the House, which is probably going to do. Donald Trump was going to issue an executive order to have the Department of Homeland Security pay TSA outside of Congress. I was looking forward to Democrats standing up going, you can't do that. We're going to sue him because Congress has the power of the purse. Okay, so then they were going to admit, and yes, John Fetterman did vote against the voter ID amendment last night. John Fetterman, no, I'm not John Fetterman. I was in a different place. The Democrats were going to have to admit that they were the ones holding back funding from TSA. So that bill passed the Senate last night. The Ninth Circuit continues another great week in the courts for the Trump administration. Ninth Circuit made a big ruling about crowd control and the anti-ICE protests. You have that. Terror simps in Philadelphia. Through some sort of stupid rally, or they were celebrating the deaths of U.S. service members. That's just disgusting. And a big, massive ruling in a landmark social media case. Google and Meta both found negligent in that case regarding social media and addiction. So we're going to have all that plus calls second half at the 45-minute mark this morning. Before we get to all that good stuff, if you all could do me a favor and hit that thumbs up button wherever you're watching. Hit that thumbs up button, especially over on rumble.com/LFA TV. Once we hit 800, we get to honk our hedgehog, which is always a fun time. Sounds nasty, but I promise you it's just a dog toy. And we honk it, and it's fun, and it's a lot of fun honking my hedgehog live on camera in front of the world every morning in front of thousands of people. It's great. We honk our hedgehogs in front of an audience of thousands.
I don't.
Fantastic. Well, you could honk your hedgehog too. All right. I'll give you a hedgehog. We have Magamo. We got Santamo.
I just hand you your hog to honk.
We got this little one over here. He doesn't honk, though, but there you go. All right. Before we do that, I want to get to a word from our friends at OFP Farms. It's OFPFarms.com, OFPFarms.com. What month is it, Brennan?
March.
And what happens in March?
Madness.
March Madness at OFP Farms. For a limited time, enjoy 25% off your entire order with the code Shawn, SHAWN, at checkout. Feel confident knowing that you are purchasing premium tallow and goat milk products that are handcrafted in small batches and delivered directly to your home from their farm. They've got thousands of 5-star reviews. I'm confident, and OFP Farms is confident, and Brennan is confident, and so many of OFP Farms' loyal customers that are in our chat, they're confident that you, if you haven't tried OFP Farms yet, will love OFP Farms as much as I do. I don't just love them because they sponsor the show. We've known them for longer than they've been sponsoring. This product, this Goat Kisses, is the best stuff on the market. It's better than Crapstick. It's better than Carmex. It's better than all that stuff. Plus, it's owned by people who we like. They're in our chat. Denise and Corey. They're amazing. Corey with the longest, most beautiful. It's a great beard. He's got a tremendous beard. As OFP Farms continues to grow, however, they're kindly asking for your patience while they refresh their website, their designs, and their overall customer experience. In the meantime, check it out, ofpfarms.com. Shop over there on the website. You can save 25% off your entire purchase by going to ofpfarms.com and using the promo code Sean. It's my first name, SHAWN, for 25% off. March Madness, limited time sale, ofpfarms.com, promo code Sean, ofpfarms.com, promo code Sean, ofpfarms.com, promo code SHAWN. That is ofpfarms.com, promo code SHAWN for 25% off during the March Madness sale. Next up, a word from our friends at Armra Colostrum. It's tryarmra.com/LFA TV. Guys and gals, colostrum, one of my favorite things. It's a life hack. You know, I always look for these life hacks, these ways to strengthen my immunity, strengthen my gut health, improve my fitness and metabolism, enhance my skin and hair radiance. I will tell you, colostrum has done that for me and then some. It's the first nutrition we receive in life and contains all the essential nutrients our bodies need in order to thrive. You can help reactivate your hair. You can help your skin glow. You know that. You can also fortify your gut health and ignite your metabolism. And you can fuel your fitness performance and recovery. And you can do that at a nice discount of up to 30% off at tryarmra.com/LFATV. tryarmra.com/LFATV. That's tryarmra.com/LFATV. Lima Foxtrot Alpha Tango Victor for up to 30% off. It's tryarmra.com/LFATV. All right. This is a terrible story out of New York. And I'm not happy that this is something that we're going to be talking about today, because I don't want to see stories like this continue to be published because they're happening. Not that we shouldn't be talking about it and not that it shouldn't be covered. I would like it if stories like this just didn't exist. Not out of ignorance, but just because we're a society that respects law and order. An elderly veteran in New York City, 83 years old, Richard Williams, died from injuries that he sustained after he was pushed onto New York City subway tracks by an illegal alien who has now been charged with murder. An illegal immigrant has been charged with murder after allegedly shoving an 83-year-old veteran onto New York City subway tracks in the Upper East Side. The veteran and grandfather, Richard Williams, had succumbed to his injuries. Honduran illegal immigrant Byron Hernandez was arrested on March 10th, and his charges have been upgraded to murder after the elderly veteran died from his injuries. The veteran had been declared brain dead. Williams' daughter, Debbie Williams, told the New York Post the elderly man was likely to not make it. The death was ruled a homicide after the incident. The incident took place on March 10th, and videos of the incident went viral online. I don't have it, nor would I play it if I did. Hernandez was initially charged with attempted murder, attempted assault and reckless endangerment. However, with the death of this 83-year-old veteran, he's been hit with the full murder charge. Hernandez did not say a word during the incident and had never interacted with Williams before the incident. Another man, John Pena, 30 years old, was also shoved onto the tracks by Hernandez the same day. Pena ignored the injuries he had and helped Williams get back up onto the platform just before a train showed up at the station. So my question is, to the Democrats, to the moderates, to the independents who lean either left or lean right, how much more of this are we supposed to take? And I ask this sincerely. And I'm not advocating for violence. I'm not telling you that, it's time to start burning down courthouses and rioting. That's not what I'm saying. I'm simply asking this question. How much more of this are we supposed to take? Just this week, And these aren't things that have happened this week, but these are topics and stories that we've covered on this show this week. Just this week, we have talked about Sheridan Gorman, the 18-year-old college student who was murdered in cold blood out for a walk at 1 a.m. on a pier in Chicago by an illegal alien. We talked about a woman who had her throat slit by an illegal alien who was smoking meth in Salt Lake City, Utah. We talked about an illegal alien who raped a 5-year-old in Long Island, New York. We talked about an illegal alien who was a transgender illegal alien who pled guilty to raping a 14-year-old boy in a bodega in New York City, only got 6 months in jail. We talked about now this illegal alien who pushed 2 people onto subway tracks in New York City, killing one who was an 83-year-old veteran father and grandfather. How much more of this are we supposed to endure from people who are in this country illegally? How much are we supposed to take? The Democrats want you to shut up and take it. Just bend over and take it. We can't just bend over and take it. Our people are dying. Children are being raped. Families are being destroyed. Society is being ripped apart at the seams here because a faction of this country, the left, refuses to enforce the law as it's written. And it's going to get worse because you have another portion of the country who believes it's righteous to send the Republicans a lesson by electing more Democrats who continue to let people like these illegals who are raping children and killing Americans into our country. You know, if you're saying vote Democrat to teach the GOP a lesson, what lesson are you teaching? What lesson are you teaching? Who are you giving power to? For example, this is one of my favorite ones, right? They're like, oh, there's not enough deportations happening. Okay, you could feel that way. I mean, I think the number is over 3.5 million right now. Illegal aliens have either left involuntarily or voluntarily, one way or another. They're gone. If you think it's not enough, fine. I'm not telling you have to believe 3.5 million is enough. Fine. You want to say that there should be more? You have every right to feel that way. But if your issue is there's not enough deportations, and then you say, but I'm going to vote for the party who is 100% militantly opposed to mass deportations, do you think voting for the people who don't want to carry out mass deportations, that's a way to carry out more deportations? In what way does that make any sense? How does voting for and intentionally trying to elect open borders Democrats help you achieve your goal of more deportations? The answer is it doesn't. It's the meme, it's the cliche. You're cutting off your nose to spite your face, right? You're like, oh, I don't like my face. I'm going to cut off my nose and send my face a message. All right, cool. You just cut off your nose. You know, cut your nose. You no longer have a nose, right? Now what? Now what? All right, you took your nose off. Great. What are you going to do now, though? You have no nose. How are you going to, what next? You know, to the dissident and the demoralized people out there who believe that, quote unquote, nothing is happening. Look, that's not true. Okay, the border is secure. That in and of itself disproves the whole nothing is happening. Well, you can't take the words literally. Well, I have to, because you're telling me that literally nothing is getting done. That's not true. To the demoralized people who believe that nothing is happening, maybe you're using the word nothing to be hyperbolic and prove your point. Maybe your general idea is that not enough is happening. Fine. You have every right to feel that way. I disagree. I believe there's more happening than you want to admit. Whatever. We have a disagreement. This is America. That happens. But if your goal is to, quote unquote, teach the Republicans a lesson by electing Democrats, I have to ask you this. What is your plan after Democrats get elected? What are you going to do? What are you going to do when you play a role in electing open borders Democrats, pro-abortion Democrats, pro-trans Democrats, men and women's sports Democrats, high tax Democrats, war on fossil fuel Democrats. What is your plan after they get elected? You know how hard it is to remove these people from power. So you're going to elect Democrats. You're going to teach the Republicans a lesson. But then what? Then what? When they start rounding you up and putting you in prison, what are you going to do? You're going to go, oh my gosh, you're going to start playing the victim. Donate to me. The left is coming after me. Yeah, they're coming after you. Yes. The ironic thing is you put them in power. These folks don't have a plan. They think, oh, we'll just give Democrats the power for just 2 years. It's going to be fine. No. You're going to screw over not just the rest of you're going to screw over yourself too. What is your plan? They never seem to have an answer to that question. What is your plan when you get these Democrats elected? Do you have a plan? Have you thought about what happens next? Or is this just about the short term? Whoa, we'll show you. That's all it is. For all of these people, the Flynn Network, Alex Jones, that want to tell you about a strategy, warfare, y'all aren't thinking about the next steps after your first attack, after your first strike. For all these folks who want to talk about chess and 5G warfare and all this, you haven't wargamed anything after the midterms. You haven't stopped to think about what next. You haven't stopped to think about anything that comes after you elect a bunch of Democrats and give them control of the House and possibly the Senate. That's a fact. Oh, then we're just going to burn the Republican Party down and we're going to elect better candidates. So why don't you just play a role in the primary process now? Why don't you try and accomplish that mission without handing power to Democrats? Doesn't that sound like a better idea? If you could keep power out of the hands of radical leftist, Marxist Democrats, while also electing better Republicans, wouldn't you say that's a better choice than giving the Democrats power? Haven't we been through one-party rule in this country before? Do you really want to go back to censorship and vaccine mandates and deplatforming and debanking and all of that? You really want to go back to and open borders? You really want to go back to that? Crazy. It's absolutely crazy. All right. How much more of this are we supposed to take as a society? When our people are being killed by people who should not be here. How much more are we supposed to take? That's my question. I don't want to take any more. But unfortunately, this is going to continue to happen. And it's going to get worse. It's going to get worse. And there will be more Laken Rileys. There will be more Richard Williams. There will be more Kate Steinleys. There will be more Sheridan Gormans. There will be more Travis Wolfs. There will be more Jocelyn Nungareys. And a lot more if the Democrats gain power of the House, possibly the Senate, in the 2026 midterms. I'm not telling you this to fearmonger or to scare you or to be hyperbolic or exaggerate here. We know this because we've been through it not that long ago. I understand we're in the microwave generation where if it didn't happen in the last 15 minutes, it's as if it never happened at all. Did you forget what we went through 2021 to 2025? Rule number one of the show, right now, I'm making it, this is the top, rule number one at Dan Bongino's Don't Get Dead. Rule number one of this show from this day forward is never vote Democrat. Never. Never vote Democrat. All right. Oh, Goodness gracious.
Well, and I'm going to be preaching to the choir, but we got to just absolutely cover ourselves with prayer too. Pray over your family, pray when you're coming and going, pray over your house, pray over your cars, because the only way to fight these people really at this point is just asking for God's protection over you. It's like David and Goliath. David wasn't looking at how big his enemy was. He was trusting that God would take care of him.
There is a spiritual aspect to all this.
Oh my gosh, it's 100%.
I mean, I don't know if you saw on 1210 that female who was masquerading as a male lawyer getting arrested, contempt of court, started screaming. I mean, it sounded like
it's 100% good
a
versus
demon
evil
coming out. It was crazy. All right, let's take a quick break and let's get to a word from our friends at goldencrestmetals.com/LFA. That's goldencrestmetals.com/LFA, and then we'll get into a pretty nice court battle that the Ninth Circuit handed a nice win to the Trump administration. Here you go. First, a word from our friends at goldencrestmetals.com/LFA.
I'm sure by now you've heard that silver went up 160% last year, 2025. I bought this silver for $22 an ounce. It's now worth almost $100. And we and experts think that silver is going to get up to about $200 an ounce. Palladium and platinum were stuck at $900 an ounce for like over a year, or in that area. Now they're up over $2,000. Gold is approaching $5,000 an ounce. If you have ever thought about putting some or all of your retirement or nest egg or savings or just buying bullion in precious metals, now's the time to do it. goldencrestmetals.com/LFA. That's goldencrestmetals.com/LFA. Go leave your name, your email, and your phone number. Schedule a time to talk to the folks over at Golden Crest Metals. Get your free gold guide today, and make sure you tune in on Saturdays at 1 p.m. for the Crest Report, where we dive deep into precious metals, why they're doing what they're doing, and where we expect them to go. It is like insider trading. Nancy Pelosi knows about that. We don't. It's just inside information. It's not even really that. It's called knowledge. Get yours today and get a part of gold, silver, palladium, and platinum and diversify your portfolio today. goldencrestmetals.com/LFA.
That is goldencrestmetals.com/LFA, goldencrestmetals.com/LFA. You know what? Before we jump into another one of the stories, I actually don't have this graphic prepared, but I saw this break either late last night or early this morning. I don't know, it kind of all blends into one. Not a lot of sleep last night as we got ready for this morning show today. But the Justice Department, DOJ, under Pam Bondi, I'm not a fan of hers. Many of you are not a fan of hers. Fine. It's okay. I'm not telling you this to say that she's great. I'm telling you this because it happened. It's the news. The Justice Department secured the denaturalization of convicted gun trafficker and a healthcare fraudster. So this is interesting. These are the first two denaturalizations we've seen in a while. Justice Department announced yesterday, that it secured the denaturalization of two criminals who obtained U.S. citizenship through fraud and sued to revoke the citizenship of a third who carried out marriage fraud. Ooh. Now who?
Ilhan Omar. The gays.
Hide stuff! Some people did something. I'm just, is precedent being set here? I'm not suggesting that it is. Marriage fraud, huh? Okay. Attorney General Pam Bondi said the actions reflect this Department of Justice's ongoing efforts to strip citizenship from people who conceal crimes or defraud the American people during the immigration process. We've talked about if you gain citizenship in this country and then you commit a crime, that is not grounds for denaturalization legally. If you obtain your citizenship via an act, a criminal act or an act of fraud, then you can be denaturalized. So interesting. Very interesting to see. That's the first two. We'll see if there are any more dominoes. Again, we're told nothing's happening. I get it. We're not just looking for two. I know. We're not just looking for three. I hear you. I understand it. I agree with you. I'm saying before you can run, you have to walk. And before you walk, generally you crawl. And before you crawl, you have to be born. And before you're born, you've got to be conceived. Like this is a long process, okay? And it does not happen overnight. I know we're in microwave culture, 90-second news, right? But really, in reality, in the real world, off of social media, in the real world, these cases and these things take time, and especially when you're dealing with fighting against a rigged judicial system with hack judges at every level of this game, you've got to make sure every T is crossed, every I is dotted, every punctuation mark is in the correct place, every line spacing is proper, every paragraph starts and ends with the right indent, or else it's going to get thrown out. We've seen that happen. All right, the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals. Big ruling for the Trump administration. Folks, I know that there's a lot of people who are down on the administration right now, if you look on social media anyway. They're demoralized. Okay, their morale is very low. And nothing's happened. The administration had a great week in court. A fantastic week. You have the Supreme Court looking like it's going to allow the administration to turn away asylum seekers if they never physically enter the United States. So that is very important, and a big ruling that looks like that's going to be coming soon. You have the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals temporarily blocking an order that prohibited federal agents from using crowd control munitions on protesters at the Portland, Oregon ICE facility. And you have the Eighth Circuit Court of Appeals. It's another one. I was supposed to get on this one yesterday, but we didn't have time. But this one here, Eighth Circuit Court of Appeals, if I can get that on the screen, there it is, opens the federal power to detain illegal immigrants, not just at the border. This is a huge story and a big-time ruling. On Tuesday, the Eighth Circuit Court of Appeals issued a ruling that dramatically expands the federal government's authority to detain illegal immigrants without bond, holding that even those arrested inside the United States, far from any port of entry, can be subject to mandatory detention. Herrera Avila versus Bondi. The court adopted a broad interpretation of federal immigration law that effectively erases the long-assumed distinction between illegal immigrants stopped at the border and those living in the interior. Joaquin Herrera Avila entered the United States illegally in 2006 and then again in 2016. That's a felony. He was arrested during a 2025 traffic stop and placed in removal proceedings where DHS detained him without bond. After an immigration judge denied his request for a bond hearing, Avila filed a habeas petition seeking release or a hearing under Section 1226A of the Immigration and Nationality Act. The district court granted Avila's requested relief, concluding that Section 1225B, subsection 2A's mandatory detention provision did not apply because Avila was not actively seeking admission and because applying it to interior arrests would conflict with Section 1226C. The district court ordered the government to release him or provide a bond hearing, after which Avila was released on bond. The government appealed. The Eighth Circuit revised the district court's decision, holding that any non-citizen present in the United States without having been lawfully admitted is subject to mandatory detention without bond under 8 U.S. Code Section 1225B, subsection 2A. So it doesn't just have to be somebody who is actively seeking admission to the country. How about it? The administration is still getting some wins in these courts. It's still an uphill battle, but this is very good news. Here's another one. This isn't necessarily good news, but it is news. Did you hear about this landmark ruling yesterday in Los Angeles regarding social media? I gotta give hat tip to Misfit Patriot because he's been all over this. This has been a story, and this has been a I don't want to use the term talking point because it's more than just that for him. This has been something he's been very passionate about, social media. Misfit was one of the first people I heard compare social media to drugs. I think the term that he uses all the time is virtual heroin or digital heroin. A jury has found that Meta, which is the parent company of Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, and Google, the parent company of YouTube, they have ruled that they found them negligent in this social media addiction case, folks. And this is about somebody who was a child and they had broken platform rules. You're not supposed to join these platforms until you're 13, and she was on there at age 6 and age 9, and parenting is an issue here too. The parents should be more aware of what's going on their child's phone. But the case surrounded kind of the way these platforms were designed. The multi-million-dollar reward is expected to increase significantly as jurors determine that the companies acted with malice or highly egregious conduct. According to the testimony, Kaylee started using YouTube when she was 6 years old and began using Instagram at age 9. She told jurors that she spent time on social media platforms all day long throughout her childhood. The legal team representing Kaylee, headed by attorney Mark Lanier, was responsible for demonstrating that the negligence of the respective defendants was a substantial factor in causing harm to her client, mental health harm. The plaintiff's attorneys highlighted specific design elements of these platforms, like Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, that they argued were intentionally created to hook young users. The features included the infinite nature of content feeds that provided an endless supply of material, autoplay functions, and notification systems. Folks, this is what we refer to as doom scrolling. We've all been there, likely, where we get on our phone and we just start doing this. Video after video after video after video after video after video after video. Next thing you know, an hour and a half has gone by. Social media is a drug. There are several addictive properties to it. There is the constant stream of content. It never ends. Your scroll never ends. It never says, you're all done for the day. It never ends. You have to decide to end it, or you could have apps and things that tell you to stop and things like that. And then for folks who are creating content, it's the dopamine. I'd be a liar if I told you that, hey, every time a video of mine hits 1 million views, I don't get a little excited. It's cool. But some people are addicted to that feeling. Some people are addicted to that feeling, and if they don't get it when they post another video, well, then they go back to the drawing board and they get ready to post another video and another one until they finally hit that 1 million views again. And then they're like, oh, it's great. I did it again. It wasn't a fluke. I get 1 million views every time. And they start posting and posting and posting. They're hooked on that dopamine hit. These platforms are absolutely addictive. And this is a huge ruling. Are we at Mo time?
Oh, yes.
Okay. Wow, we got there quick today. Here we go. There's our hedgehog. Got him. Okay. Parents, if you got young kids, please pay attention to how much time they're spending on social media. And adults, you can get hooked on this stuff too. You look at X, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and what those platforms reward. It rewards sensationalism, 90-second news, to scare the pants off you. Think something's happening that may not actually be happening. Remember the drones with the nuclear bomb went missing? All these videos, oh my gosh, there's a dirty bomb missing in the United States, right? Now with the inclusion of AI, you don't know what's real and what's not. It's a very, very dangerous place. I'm not saying this to be hyperbolic and dramatic, and it's the truth. You cannot believe everything you see on the internet. Discernment is something that a lot of people seem to have lost. But social media, the scrolling apps, or anything, X is not a scrolling app, but you're scrolling up and down the feed. It's very dangerous. It's very addictive. And the worst part about it is this. Not only do you have the ability to doom scroll because the feed never ends, right? Not only do you have the instant gratification microwave culture world where we're in, where it's like I just got 500,000 views in 6 hours. Whoa, this is great. And now you're watching your numbers go up and you're looking at your analytics and how many followers and all this. And I look at these things because it's how I run a lot of the businesses and stuff that we do, the work that we do. A lot of this matters. But when you have these algorithms that then reward your sensationalism and every click and every share and every follower and every comment and every view is now monetized, which again, I'm not saying is a bad thing. I'm a capitalist. I make a lot of money on social media. Not a lot of money, but I'm saying we do a lot of our work on social media. I'm extremely excited and grateful that social media has found a way to reward people who use it to create content and distribute information. I like it. I'm a capitalist. By all means, go for it. But be careful. Because you spend too much time in these circles on social media, you'll come out believing some wild things that aren't true either. I'm talking wild stuff. Use your heads. Make sure you know what your kids are doing. And if you're an adult and you're using social media, you can get hooked too. Be careful. All right. Let's get to a word from our friends over at Silent. Then we'll jump on the phones for calls. SLNT.com/Sean, SLNT.com/Sean, SLNT.com/Sierra Hotel Alpha Whiskey November. Let's face it, ladies and gentlemen, your phone is what? It's a tracking device. Everywhere you go, your phone is tracking you. That's how you get those targeted ads all the time when you are scrolling on Instagram or Facebook or YouTube or TikTok. Your phone's a tracking device. Between government agencies, big tech, corporate data brokers, even those crazy, pesky cyber criminals, they are all fighting for a piece of your digital footprint, and they don't ask before they take it. They just take it. They just take it. That is why Silent exists. They make Faraday gear that blocks all wireless signals, including cellular, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, GPS, RFID, and near-field communications. No signal means no tracking. No remote access and no breadcrumbs. This is the same technology that is trusted by special operations teams all around the world, used to block signals, avoid surveillance, and secure communications wherever the mission leads. And right now, it is available to you to protect your family, protect your freedom, and secure your digital footprint. All you got to do is drop your phone in that Silent Faraday sleeve, and it's off the grid. It's totally silent, and it's invisible to the outside world. They've got those backpacks, their sleeves. They've got crossbody. Silent's got these patented items. Their technology is patented to give you control of your privacy. Just visit slnt.com/Sean. slnt.com/Sean to get 15% off and free shipping on qualifying orders. That is SLNT, Sierra Lima November Tango.com/Sean. Protect your rights, secure your data, and stay one step ahead. Silent.com, slnt.com/Sean. Silence the chaos and go silent today. slnt.com/SHAWN. All right. Let's do calls. 631-527-4545. That is 631-527-4545. It's going to be a beautiful weekend here in Middle Tennessee. I don't know if there's any plans yet for the Kenneth Barrett campaign, but if there are, we would love to be out there. 631-527-4545 if you'd like to call in. There's also a very interesting, remember the drug boats where you're blowing them up down there in the Caribbean and all these areas? There's been an emergence of, we have a call coming in, there's been an emergence of a brand new type of animal that we're going to talk about once we get this call connected. Hello, we have Conservative Autumn on the line. What's up?
Hey, I just wanted to call in and tell you guys about a sad story and then give you a little piece of advice that's kind of fun.
All right.
Okay, so the first thing, there was a girl that was euthanized.
Oh, I can't hear you. It's a little muffled. Wait, restart that. Say that again. There you go.
Sorry, it's windy. But anyway, there was a girl in Spain that was euthanized yesterday, and it's all over X, and it's really sad. But she was really depressed and was having second thoughts, but the doctor talked her into it, and now she's not with us anymore.
The doctor talked her into euthanasia. Was this in Canada, you said?
It was in Spain.
In Spain, okay, in Europe. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's terrible. Yeah. So she was having second thoughts about assisted suicide, and the doctor was like, "No, you should just let me kill you," essentially.
Yeah, essentially,
Ugh.
and it was just because people had already spoken for her organs.
People had spoken for her organs.
Yeah,
Oh my gosh!
like she was going to donate them, and they were spoken for.
And so she couldn't reverse course because
No, she couldn't.
oh my gosh,
Yeah,
that's a tragedy.
It's really sad.
That
Yeah,
is
it's
really
all
sad.
over X.
Yeah.
But the second piece of advice, you were talking about your concert experience yesterday.
Oh yeah.
Have you been to a For King and Country show?
Have I been to what?
A For King and Country concert?
No.
Okay, well you should. They're amazing performers.
Okay. Yeah, we will.
Yeah,
We will
but-
definitely look them up. I love Need to Breathe. You know, we went out there because they're a phenomenal live act, and that's how we were introduced to them. But yeah, we'll look into that group. I love live music, so you know. By the way, I don't know if everybody remembers, but a couple of years ago we had a young man on our show, Conservative Autumn. I don't know if you remember this. His name is J.W. Griffin. Dash on the
Yes, I
tombstone.
remember him.
Yeah, he's on The
remember
Voice
him.
right now, and he's kicking ass.
Whoa.
So this is so
Whoa.
cool.
Wow, he's made it to the big time.
Yeah. So we're glad to see him getting the recognition that he deserves because he's extremely talented. But thank you so much for the call and the word of advice about a little bit of music there and that terrible story out of Spain. That's a horrible story.
Yeah,
but thank
it
you, and we hope you have an amazing weekend. Thanks so much.
You guys too. Bye.
Thank you. Conservative Autumn giving us giving us her call. This is great to hear from her. 631-527-4545, 631-527-4545. Let's go into this. There's a brand new type of animal in the Bahamas. It's not just a shark. It's a cocaine shark. Yes. There are sharks now. I guess they're testing positive for cocaine. You get the drug boats that they were blowing up out there, and a lot of drifting drugs in the water hitting those currents. So the cocaine sharks are now a thing in the Bahamas, but we're not going to be doing cocaine sharks for too long. We got Heather from Kansas City on the line. What's up, Heather?
Hello, how are you all?
We're doing well. How are you?
I told Ben earlier the weather here went from 93 to 50, so I was a little under the weather.
Yeah, no, we have a cold front. The cold front's working its way through. There's not
Holy
the
cow.
crazy severe weather like the last one, but yes, the cold front
But
working
what
its way
we're
through.
doing- I had to call because if I get this job that I applied for, I will be working in person and might not be able to call in so much.
Oh no. Okay, well we hope we do hope you get this job though. Okay.
It would
Yeah.
be a very good the overtime and stuff
Nice.
available more than, and it's actually at the same company I worked for before.
Okay.
Just a different position. So.
All right.
Yeah. So I just want to let you all know that if I don't call, I'm alive and fine. I just won't be able to. So.
Gotcha.
anyway.
Well, we do hope you get that position, because I know that sometimes a job can really change your situation. So
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. Well, also we're trying to. I saw Mayor Lucas of Kansas City. He's
Okay.
terrible. He's Democrat. He's trying to push for Emmanuel Cleaver to get reelected. We're trying to not get him reelected. He's the one that said a man or a woman in Congress when he prayed. I don't know if you remember that or not.
okay. Yeah.
So he's not very good. He's been there for ages, and so they're like, reelect him again. I'm like, no, he needs to go. Like he's like not 80 or something. I don't know.
Right.
So we're just hoping to get him unelected. So anyway, we have voting coming up soon. We got our voter cards in the mail, and so we're ready to go. So
Very good.
anyway,
All right.
but everything
Well,
else
keep
is good.
playing a role in your local politics. Keep playing that role, because it's very important to keep doing that. Stay involved,
Yeah.
stay engaged, and enlist all your friends. Yes.
Absolutely. Well, you guys have a wonderful weekend, and we'll talk soon.
Thanks. You do the same. Heather from Kansas City. All right. We got one more. The volume is maxed out, so there's nothing I can do about that. I would have to say, if you can't hear it, turn up the volume on your end, as I can't do anything about it right here. And some callers they come in a little lower. We do have another one coming in here. All right. We are connected. Who do we have on the line here? Hello. Hello. We're going once. Nope, it never actually connected. Okay, never mind. Fake news. You are fake news. That call never connected, or it did very briefly, but didn't. Look at this story about cocaine sharks. Researchers discover cocaine sharks in the Bahamas. I think it's from all those. What do you think? It's from all those drug boats that we blew up. The sharks. The sharks are just.
I mean, that was my first thought when they started blowing them up. I was like, what is going to happen to the marine life?
Remember my bit? The fish are high as hell. That's the whole thing. So that was it. There we go. We have another call coming in here. This is going to be the last one of the morning. If it does connect, this will be the final call of the morning. You are connected. Hello. Who do we have on the line? Hello.
Boy, there's a huge delay. I'm sorry.
That's okay. Yeah.
Okay. So I know you're from New York originally.
Yes.
I am currently trapped behind enemy lines. And Tennessee is one of the states I'm looking at.
Okay.
What was it that pushed you over the edge to move to Tennessee?
No state income tax was the number one thing that we looked at and said, okay, Tennessee, no state income tax, heavily Republican state. But there was really no other than that. There's like lower cost of living, and what we had researched in terms of what it would look like with healthcare, what it would look like with car insurance, how it is to start a business, right? Work for yourself, all of those different things combined. Property tax rates across the state are also far lower than they would be in New York and some other states, some other, for example, Florida. Florida is a little bit more of an expensive place to live. It's more of a destination. There's an ocean, tourism, all that stuff. So that's the type of stuff that played a role in bringing us to Tennessee. And I will tell you, it was one of the best decisions, if not the best decision that we could have made at the time to get out of New York, get somewhere that allows you to sit back, to stretch out, to breathe, a lot of financial flexibility, and it has treated us very, very well. So that would hopefully that answers your question.
It sure gives me some direction.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Well, very good.
Hey,
yep. Thank you so much.
Hey, thanks.
Yep. Thank you.
Thanks for fighting us still stuck behind the lines.
Heck yeah, that's right. You keep it up. As long as you're behind the lines, you keep up the fight. Thank you so much. Have a great weekend. We got to bounce, but appreciate the call. There he goes. Great. That's a good call. There you go. What brought you to Tennessee? I always say New York brought us to Tennessee, but the Tennessee was very appealing to us
and we
specifically.
Happened to, stumble across it on accident.
Yeah,
too, and it turned out to be perfect.
It was just like a great idea. There's no way we could have put together what we're currently doing in New York. You just don't get a chance to get off the ground in a state like that. Mm-hmm. That's the problem. All right. That will do it for another great week on LFA TV. Rumble.com/LFA TV. Remember, if you're listening on audio, Rumble.com/LFA TV. That is where this live chat is. If you're watching anywhere else, that's the live chat over on Rumble. If you are listening on audio, Rumble.com/LFA TV is where the video show is hosted. That's where the content lives. Check it out. Go there. Hit subscribe if you're watching on video. Go anywhere on your podcasting apps on your phone. Search Ungoverned and just hit subscribe. The momentum has been great. We've continued to move on those charts, so we greatly appreciate all of the support that we're having on that side of things as well. Hope everybody has a great rest of your weekend and a great rest of your Friday. Jeremy Harrell up next with Live from America. As President Trump says, we will never give up, we will never give in, and we will never ever surrender. Have a great weekend, and thank you for your attention to this matter.